While White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was on maternity leave, several members of Trump's cabinet filled in for her. She returned to work last week, but I still have a lot of questions for them. So we decided to bring them all back for one last time right here, right now. That's right, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Vice President J.D. Vance, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, CMS Administrator Dr. Oz, and the Late Night Press Corps are here in this studio, ready to go. So without further ado, it's time for the Late Night White House Press Briefing. Yes, help. Thank you. Seth Meyers, Late Night with Seth Meyers. Vice President Vance, let's start with you. Mr. Vice President, what do you say to yourself in the mirror every morning to get yourself pumped up for a day at the office?
Mr. Vice President, you're a terrible human being, and so is the president.
Congrats on the release of your new book, Communion. How is your book signing tour?
Very poorly attended.
My next question is for CMS Administrator Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, what do you think will be the three biggest things Trump will accomplish before the end of his second term?
Heart disease and strokes and dementia.
Your new prescription drug website, TrumpRx.gov, didn't take off like you'd hoped. What has happened since you switched it over to be mostly hardcore pornography?
We're now up to about 12 million unique visitors to the site.
This next question is for Treasury Secretary Bessent. Secretary Bessent, what's the most surprising thing you've learned during your time as Treasury Secretary?
There's a street in New York called Wall Street.
This next question is for Secretary Rubio. Secretary Rubio, J.D. Vance gives off some serious serial killer vibes. Do you think he's ever killed anyone?
I'll give you one example. The Pope.
Okay, Secretary Rubio, off the top of your head, what are the best 4 ways? Just to clarify, I'm asking you to give me your ranking of the top 4 ways of all time. Okay, go.
The hard way, the easy way, the long way, the short way.
Dr. Oz, why does President Trump have so many doctor's appointments?
Treating stupid is really hard.
Sure. Vice President Vance, let's have a little fun. Where does cottage cheese come from?
Kurdistan.
I said a little fun, and that felt like a little. Secretary Bessent, what's the #1 rule of the White House men's room?
Get out ahead of the president.
All right, Vice President Vance, they didn't like Kurdistan, so let's try again with a sports question. What kind of surface do they play on at the Australian Open?
A kangaroo court.
Secretary Rubio, a Wizard of Oz question. What is Glinda the Good Witch's favorite mode of transportation?
The protective bubble.
Secretary Rubio, this next one was one of our favorites in the writer's room, and yet we're confident that it's definitely not going to work. Do you care if we do it anyway?
Go ahead.
Okay. Here goes nothing. Who are all those old bearded guys in robes and turbans I saw shredding it at the skate park?
Radical Shia clerics.
That actually went way better than I thought. Hey, Vice President Vance, what does it mean when you show up to a party with your wife and there's a big bowl of keys on the table?
We're going to be trading partners.
Dr. Oz, what's the first thing that everyone does when they come up out of a subway station?
Start going in the wrong direction.
Right, I'm doing that. All right, Secretary Bessent, I have a question about school lunches. And my question is this. How about I give you my PB&J and these Ruffles for your nuggets and 4 of your tater tots?
We perhaps have the makings of a deal here.
Wait, you know what? I actually think I want to keep my ruffles.
There can be no deal without those.
Secretary Rubio, time for a geography pop quiz. Quick, name all 50 states.
I can identify for you 6 or 7.
Okay. That's not great, but go ahead.
Boston,
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you right there.
Africa,
Oh my God, you're closer with Boston. Mr. Vice President, this next one's for the Lord of the Rings heads out there. Do you have any tips, for people who are planning a vacation to Mordor this summer?
Maybe don't meet the eye.
Secretary Rubio, what do directors say to this guy, the actor Mads Mikkelsen, every time they offer him a role?
you're the bad guy in this.
Staying on the topic of cinema, what was the film Brokeback Mountain about?
These guys do it in mountains and in caves and in hiding.
Secretary Bessent, where do you get a tingly feeling when you watch Love Island?
In my private business,
In my private business. Vice President Vance, how would you describe President Trump's marriage?
A crime that has 2 victims.
It's been reported that President Trump just installed some new 12-inch subwoofers in the trunk of the presidential limo. Is he happy with them?
I think the president's very gratified by the response that he's heard from the base.
Secretary Bessent, how are things going at home since you started couples therapy?
we are pumping more.
That one didn't go great. You know what, Secretary Rubio? Let's win him back with this one. Secretary Rubio, who's your favorite Subway employee?
Jared,
Vice President Vance, your approval ratings are historically low. What do people hate the most about you?
My breath.
Secretary Rubio, what are the 3 stages of being a Mets fan?
growing isolation, economic collapse, and ultimately total defeat.
And finally, Vice President Vance, what's the creepiest thing you could say during a threesome?
I want to just observe.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it. I certainly wouldn't say it like that. All right, it looks like we're out of time. On behalf of the rest of the Late Night Press Corps, have a good night. We'll be right back with Leslie Jones.